Alright, today I want to chat with you. Yep, you, unless you're like a raging man baby or something, in which case nobody wants to talk to you. But for most of you, I need your help. Because I'd like to be convinced of something, which would probably help me to enjoy Battlefield 5 on the same level that some other people do. Or at least if you can't convince me, I'll be even more confident in my convictions on the matter. Because for me, Conquest sucks. Like it blows absolute chunks. And so today, I'm challenging you to change my mind. I'll go through what I dislike about the mode for a bit, and then I'll likely end off the video with what used to be called the filler screen. I'm now probably going to call it GetGoodGuy Rambles so YouTube don't demonetize the video and stuff like that. And many people have been asking for its return, so stick around until the end of the video if you'd like to hear me talk about a random subject without any musical accompaniment or visual aids. Yep, it's really that exciting. And then I'm going to go and play Teamfight Tactics, because I think that might end up being my absolute obsession. As you may be able to tell right now, this video isn't really scripted, so it might be a bit all over the place, but I just want to make a laid-back piece of content and interact with you lot today, rather than make something with the intention of going for large views. You know, just a little fun thing today. So for all, 7 of you who end up watching this, thanks. You're the lifeblood of this channel. So anyway, how did I get to the point of having the idea of making this video? Well, I've never really liked Conquest in this game, and I wasn't much of a fan of it in Battlefield 1, but it's kind of for different reasons, I guess. I'll get to that, but actually, I want to make a point here. I'm not saying that Conquest is actually bad. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I want it to be removed or any of the wild stories that get created around what I say. I'm just saying that I don't like it. To me specifically, it's a bad mode for what I like. But many enjoy it, so clearly it's doing something right. Or everyone's brainwashed. It's one of the two. But when I play it, I'm either bored or frustrated a lot. Like seriously, super bored and sometimes kind of frustrated. Put it that way. People talk about the gameplay in Battlefield 5 often being slower, and I agree with that for the most part when you look at the player base as a whole. There's a very prevalent passive playstyle evident, I guess. It's a weird sentence, but I think it makes sense. And I feel this massively in Conquest. Why is that such a big deal? Well, in something like Breakthrough, the two teams are lined up against each other in a linear fashion, so it's very simple to work out where to fight the enemy and what you're supposed to be doing. It doesn't matter if people are playing aggressively or passively, you're head on with them so combat takes place, and you're working towards a clear goal of attacking or defending, all within a fairly limited area. I'm not saying I particularly like Breakthrough or anything like that, but it's a solid example of why the passive play of this game is more so felt by myself in Conquest, because it's not linear, it's generally quite circular, or I guess we could call it freeform. It's an open playing field. And so with many a player not particularly pushing areas, and with fairly distant home spawns, I end up feeling like I have two choices most of the time. Head to a specific area that's just absolutely chaotic, with little flow to anything, as players are just stacking up there, spawning in from random angles, campers here, there and everywhere, and it's just a total death zone really. Maybe it's a spawn trap, or just so happens to be where some groups of players keep returning to, or I could play on the other 95% of the map and find very little to do quite often, and possibly enjoy being picked off by someone lying in a random bush. Again, to emphasize, I'm not criticizing any playstyles here, or the actual design of the mode, I'm just saying that it's not for me. Like sometimes there isn't even that chaotic area to go to, if a lot of players on both sides just don't really want to push out of wherever they've spawned. And this has been built up by some of the weapons that are available, and the playstyles that you can use, and the visibility and whatever else. It's the overall design of the game creating this situation. Obviously sometimes a Conquest game can be awesome, but I don't find that to be a particularly common occurrence. Now in Battlefield 1, I didn't feel like that. In that game, Conquest was almost too manic for me. I guess spotting impacted this as it made it clear where enemies were for both sides, and so people were more incentivized to move and engage players, perhaps even without realizing it. And there were constant planes bombing areas and all that kind of stuff, like the Moromets. God, that thing was horrendous. And no, it wasn't my cup of tea overall, but still, obviously, there's a very different experience to BF5 Conquest. It may also come down to different map design as well, that's quite possible. But regardless, change my mind people, please try. What is it that's not clicking into place in my head so I can enjoy it? Why am I bored playing that mode so often? I mean, it's the staple of Battlefield, right? That's what I keep being told. I've been berated over and over again about how Conquest is the only thing that Battlefield veterans really care about, and other pretty irritating comments. I'm like, okay bro, that's cool, I'm just trying to enjoy the game, you know? But as it is essentially the core of the Battlefield experience for many players, it would be nice if I didn't feel like an outlier for not really wanting to play play it. You know, I'd really like to enjoy it, especially as it feels like I or we are so limited by available modes at this point. I mean, I loved Frontlines because it was near constant battle if you actually knew what you were doing, but that's gone now, reduced to a limited time mode. Rush had a similar experience and that's a limited time. Domination is now limited time. Outpost is limited time. You get what I'm saying? So I do often turn the game on, look at the server browser and ask myself, what do I want to play? The answer generally is, well, nothing much, and I just pick something at random, which is kind of sad, really. And I don't want to hear, oh, just get good. You don't know what you're doing. Conquest is the best. No, it's not about that. I do just fine on this game, thank you. The mode just isn't for me, and the overall experience isn't for me, and I think that's been hard for some people to process when I've mentioned it before. They just somehow get offended. It's kind of strange. Whereas at the same time, I struggle to see why so many people stand so solidly behind Conquest. Like seriously, if I played that mode all the time, I'd be gouging my eyeballs out. Like this would have become a Minecraft channel by now. I mean, that game is mega popular again anyway, so I maybe will do a video on it at some point, but you get what I'm saying. Now I know some people will be able to get right into this topic. I remember when I made my video about enjoying Outpost, I had some people absolutely freaking out. I said I wouldn't mind if Conquest was replaced by Outpost. Keep in mind, I didn't say that should happen. I wasn't encouraging Conquest being removed, that would be crazy, but I was expressing how much I preferred Outpost, and some of you got real mad. Like, how dare I suggest Conquest being removed? If this happens, I'm gonna do this and that, and all my days just calm your Russell Jimmies. But I really did enjoy Outpost more, and this is where it all got very confusing for me. A lot of the criticism of that mode was a lack of action, but I found it way easier to get involved in fights on Outpost. It was so very obvious where the battles were taking place. It often didn't end up being one manic clump of people, and the nature of the spawning meant the mode had a solid flow to it, so it wasn't a case of being shot from every angle under the sun. Generally, the play was far less passive in my experience as well, and playing the objective actually required people to interact with a set object, rather than say just sit in the corner of a marked area. For me, it was wildly superior. And that's not to say it's objectively better, but I assume some of you will see the comparison I'm making and understand my points. So what gives? What's the deal? Why don't I like Conquest? What can I change about my thought process that might help? Or do you feel similarly? Either way, you at least now know why I don't tend to feature too much gameplay from Conquest, as I have had people ask me about it before. And it gives all of us an opportunity to interact. And so, I hope you've enjoyed this piece of content. Yes, the rambling section will follow. It's backed by popular demand, but for now, keep in mind it takes no effort to turn on those notifications to stay up to date, as subscriptions are pretty unreliable now, unfortunately. And I'd also super appreciate if you'd like, subscribe, and join my Discord server in the description and my pinned comment. Here's the Board of Awesome for the epic people who support the channel on Patreon. They're all absolute heroes and I love them all deeply and of course often. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, the link to the Patreon page is in the description and my pinned comment. And with that all said, I'm GetGoodGuy and I'll see you next time. Laters. Okay, welcome to GetGoodGuy Rambles, where I go into a random word generator and see what I get, and then talk about it for the remainder of the video. No, this is not conventional for a YouTuber. Yes, I'm still gonna do it. I got 2 minutes to fill today, so God knows what it's gonna be like, but I'm gonna do 2 words this time rather than 1, 2 at once and see what happens. Ready? Those words are freeze lend. Jesus, I don't know what to do with those. Those 2 words don't go together at all. However, freeze. Stop right there. I want you to concentrate on my voice. Do you like my voice? Because many people say they don't like my voice, but many others do. It's kind of weird, right? I've had all sorts. Some people say I'm really irritating. By the way, if you leave comments on my video saying my voice is annoying, you suck. Thanks for letting me know. You're annoying, and I hope to never see you again. Unless you watch the video all the way through without leaving a comment. This is getting off the beaten track now, so we're gonna carry on. But other people say I have a really nice voice. I guess it depends how I put my voice across. Nobody really considers that when you're speaking into a microphone and you want to be heard and keep the volume equal all the way through, etc., it maybe makes you sound a little bit different. This is wildly not to do with what we got. Freeze lend. Can I lend someone? You could lend someone a freezer. There's that. If they ran out of freezers, or was Freezer in Dragon Ball Z? Was that a name as well? I don't know. You see, if you never heard me do this before, you listen to me right now and going, after that video, why is this what he's doing? But people keep asking me to come and do this, so if people want it and it helps to fill out the video, why wouldn't I do it? Should I do 2 more words? Yeah, why not? Expression ally. Oh god. The ally of the creative person is good expression. Something I hope that I embody. I also embody flubbing my words and bailing on doing exercise when I should do. Yeah, okay. That might be long enough. I think it probably is. So it's probably not long enough because I just looked. I'm lying by saying probably. I know it's not because I literally just checked how long's gone, but it should be around the right amount of time, somewhere around this point. I don't know why people want to watch me do this or listen to me do this because there's nothing for you to watch on screen right now. I hope you've had a good time. I'm GetGoodGuy. I have a cat. I'm going to show you that cat one day. And see you next time.